Most genres have several franchises that vie to be best in class, but with snowboarding games, there is one indisputable king, SSX. Saturation caused players to turn the cold shoulder to extreme sports games last console generation, but now, 5 years since its last release, can SSX thaw that sentiment for its high-def debut.
Huge jump coming up. Make Uncle Yuri proud.
World Tour represents the closest thing to a single-player campaign, but it keeps the exposition light. Team SSX is facing financial strife, and to make matters worse, one of its riders has defected. In order to raise funds, the team decides to live stream a race to conquer 9 deadly descents. At just 5 hours in length, it works as a nice tutorial to prepare you for the extensive online offering, but it's low on frills.
You're barking up the wrong tree, mate.
Once you head online, the game really cracks open in the Explore and Global Events options. The Explore mode has you pan around the globe looking for records to topple that your friends have laid down. Jumping from one event to the next is seamless and quick, and once you establish a time, your ghost will remain there for your friends to compete against. If you have several friends online at a time, it's like playing whack-a-mole trying to keep your spots on the leaderboards. Global events can last anywhere from an hour to days as folks jump in and try to establish the best time or trick score before the timer expires. Up to 500 riders can compete, and unlike the Explore option, you can play at the same time live with friends. There's just no real start or finish line. You can wait in the helicopter and drop in together, but there's still something lost without the option of standalone events. That said, the ability to compete in multiple global events at a time and jump around at will while leaving your ghost behind makes it very flexible and addicting. No one's going to miss sitting around in a lobby waiting for an event to start.
All part of the plan!
There are 10 riders, and each of the 150 courses has scores of branching paths that settle into a nice risk-reward quotient. No matter what mode you're exploring, you're rewarded with points that you can use to unlock new riders or drops, and to buy new gear that you equip before going out on each run. You're even given points when other players fail to beat your ghosts or miss geotags that you've hidden on a course. There is an online pass, but you don't really need it to get the most out of the game, as it's only necessary for banking your global event earnings. While the single-player option isn't very compelling, the online options more than make up for it. The improved take on Autolog from the Need for Speed series keeps you consistently engaged and improving.
Lights, camera, action! This is what it's all about, mate, eh? Having some fun.
Anyone who has played prior SSX games will be able to jump right in and play well. There's even the option to use the old-school control scheme in lieu of the new dual-stick setup. It utilizes the same formula as well. Landing tricks give you boost, which gives you the speed to pull off even better maneuvers that build even more boost. Combos are the name of the game, and it features some pretty intelligent assists to keep you going from one obstacle to the next, and from constantly wrapping your rider around a tree. Sometimes it takes over a little too much. As you land tricks without bailing, the tricky meter builds. Once it's full, you can detach from the board and really throw down some sick tricks. If you continue to string together moves, you'll enter super tricky and be able to rip off character-specific uber tricks. It's a tried and true formula that still works quite well, and it's easy to grasp. The physics do a solid job of replicating the feeling of carving through powder or losing grip on ice, and you can trick on any object in the game, even the helicopter, provided you reach it. The biggest addition to the gameplay is a third event type where you must simply survive. Each run comes with a condition to overcome. Ice, trees, oxygen deprivation, and many others necessitate the need for specific gear for your rider. Some, like the wingsuit, add a whole new angle to the game. Some are clever, like having to ride in the light to keep from freezing to death. And then there are pointless additions, like the annoying pulse goggles. These deadly descents represent the bosses in the game and provide the most unique gameplay opportunities, but they're not especially difficult and zap SSX of its all-out attitude.
You won't be able to see anything down there, and I cannot help you!
Difficulty isn't SSX's forte. It's extremely generous, both inside and outside of gameplay. Riders level up with use, and unlocking new slots for armor, suits, boards, and gear is a little too generous. In the campaign, you rarely have to finish first to proceed, and you're rewarded with so many points throughout the various modes that you run out of relevant things to spend them on. You have a rewind feature you can use several times in each event should you make a mistake. There are one-time use mods to boost stats, and minus the races that will introduce you to slow restart times, there's not much resistance. It's just another convenient excuse to play online.
Riding up here is one of the worst ideas in the long sad history of bad ideas.
You're gonna be riding over, under, through, and on top of some seriously tricky and wicked things.
With games like SSX, engine performance is essential, and it holds up its end of the bargain here. No matter what's happening on screen or how high you soar, it never buckles. When you're really laying on the boost, it has a fantastic sense of speed. Featuring a clean look, it's low on bells and whistles and doesn't really have a style to it. And pulling back on the angle helps you play better, but doesn't do the graphical detail any favors. Trick animations are incredible, however, and the fantasy courses spread across the 9 different mountain ranges manage to keep things varied. What exists of the story is told via ridiculous comic-inspired interludes and brief cinemas that do little to motivate.
My board and my suit have been specifically engineered to take all the knocks the toughest line of the Rockies can throw my way.
The audio is completely interactive, the songs build and cascade with the action, and Run DMC returns to lend their patented sample. The 30-plus licensed tracks are appropriate to the vibe of the game and feature some great up-and-coming artists. SSX doesn't feature an especially impressive presentation, but it's scaled to facilitate silky smooth play.
No snowboard trip around the world would be complete without a stop in Antarctica.
SSX is a great snowboarding game that has its priorities in the right place. From the seamless online options that encourage you to compete, to the graphics engine that ensures a level playing field, the entire game has been built to maximize play. The result is a game that's just flat out fun. The more interesting moments tend to be fleeting, and the single player is anemic, but it's a great mix of old and new that will satisfy both fans of the series and first-time rippers.